Hi, guys. It is noon on Tuesday. Welcome to Chakra Sessions with Polly Jo Labbe. I am your host, and we are here in the beautiful hills of Western Massachusetts. And believe it or not, it is snowing again. I'm sure there are many of you out there who are having the same issue we're having, which is Mother Nature is having difficulty deciding what season we're having right now. So we go back and forth between winter and spring pretty regularly, and sometimes often in the same day. So we are having flurries, but it is supposed to be 50 later today. So who knows what Mother Nature has in store for us. So hi, Rob. Always happy to see you. What'd you know, Polly Jo? Gets me started, gets me smiling. Thanks for checking in. And yes, Neshi, more snow. It's not the kind that's going to stick. It's not even sticking to the ground. It's actually looks more like a pillow fight. They're kind of these big flakes that are just disintegrating before they even touch the ground. So it's kind of pretty, but at the same point, I'm sure most of you are in the same boat. You know, it's April. We would really love a little more spring, a little more flowers, a little more heat than we're having. So today's show is all about releasing toxic energy from your relationships and releasing toxic relationships from your energy field. I see those as two different things. We all have people that we have been in relationship with in the past who really left an energetic mark on our system. And sometimes we know their energy is still in our body or is still connected to us, because what happens is, we see something or someone says something and it triggers a memory of them. If we have a triggered memory of someone, they're still lurking about in our energy system. That is great when it's somebody we care about, when it's somebody we would like to release and have that negativity out of our lives permanently. Then it's not great to be getting triggered with memories all the time. I have somebody who I had a really toxic relationship recently with, and, I've been releasing the triggers one at a time as they come up to release the toxins from that relationship. And the last one I had to do was, believe it or not, the make and model of car they had. There's somebody who had a black Toyota Prius, and, we're very conscious about the environment around here. And so you can imagine how many of those are out here, not just in town, but on the highway and everywhere you go. They probably made hundreds of thousands of this type of car. And so I don't need to get triggered into feeling the negative energy I had with this person every time I see a black Toyota Prius, right? So getting that energy released is a way for me to kind of finally move completely forward and out of the energy. Doesn't mean I won't remember the person. Of course I will. But I get to choose when I solicit the memories and when I get triggered by them. So that's part of what we're doing today. Good morning, Margaret. Glad to see you're here. And the other thing is, we sometimes have relationships we're in now where some negative things happened. We had a fight with someone and exchanged some words we wish we could take back, or we have somebody that we work with that you bump up against all the time, and it's really difficult to stay positive around them. So those are people who often, every time we interact with them, we get sort of inundated with kind of mucky energy. It can affect our mood. We have different people, I'm sure, that when you spend too much time with them or time on the phone with them, you end up feeling drained or exhausted, or you were great and happy, and after the end of the conversation, you're angry or sad. So those are all what I see as toxins that are filling our body. It's kind of like eating food that's not too great. Our stomach knows how to release that. Our digestive system knows how to release that so that we're not hanging on to this bad food, but we don't know how to do it with our energy body. So we're sitting around with this muck in our energy system that we don't need. Who needs to have their organs or their tissues filled with negativity? We all would like to have more ease and grace and happiness in our lives and more joy and more abundance. And all of those things get sort of bogged down when we hang on to this old toxic energy. So I invite you to love and share the show so that it reaches other people. Because I'm sure there are a number of people out there who would like to work on some of the toxic relationship energy they may be carrying on, because we've all encountered it. It's not it's not something new. It's something sometimes we encounter every day. But when we change our end of it, we don't have to receive it quite the same way, which is really cool. So the relationship energy, the majority of it is located in our second chakra. It's orange in color. And when that second chakra gets bogged down, because it holds all of our water flow, it starts to affect all of the flow in our lives. So believe it or not, it's going to affect your blood flow, so your blood pressure. Surprise, surprise. So a relationship with somebody could stress you out to a point where it affects your blood pressure. It can affect your breath. So it can cause you to shorten your breath, which can lead to anxiety or panic attacks. It can also impact how your digestive system flows, because some people can really upset you so that you squeeze and you become constipated. And other people, they've got so much toxic energy in them that, it can cause you to really let go. So all of those things can be impacted just by having a toxic relationship with someone. It can also, for women, it can affect your cycle and how heavy you flow or not flow at all. So bringing your water in the second chakra back into balance then allows you to have an even give and take in all of your relationships. And relationships that are more romantic in nature or ones that are deeper will also obviously involve the heart chakra. So we can hold on to toxic energy in our heart. And when we do that, it begins to, that also affects our heartbeat, our heart flow, our blood pressure. It affects our lungs and the lung capacity. It also can cause us to have shoulder pain and, a lot of toxic energy held in the heart actually will lead to things like breast cancer. So we want those toxins out of there. We don't need to be holding them on in our tissues. So let's get that kind of moving and out the door. So one of the, thank you for sharing. Robin said she just shared. So thank you very much, Robin, for doing that for me. And as we go forward into the meditation, we are going to look at all the places where you may have held connections that are toxic. Some people get in our head, right? So when they get us second guessing ourselves, when they cause us to react where we're spinning in our thoughts and we can't really stay grounded, then they may have affected us in our third eye. Because if our perceptions get tilted or altered, It can change our belief patterns about ourselves, and then that impacts the decisions and the choices that we make. It may have impacted you in the throat. And if you have toxic relationship energy in your throat, then you may have trouble speaking up for yourself, or you may bite your tongue too often, or you may do the opposite. You may blow your top at, just when somebody looks at you, because you've got so much there, it's just bubbling up to the surface. And that really will impact our creativity. Often writer's block and things like that stem from the fact that we have some negative energy that's attached there. And more often than not, it's because we had an interaction with someone else that caused us to believe that we shouldn't be creative, or it's not okay for us to be creative. So let's get some of that out of there as well. And we talked about the heart, but in the top of the belly, that it can be a really hard place for relationship energy, especially if you have interactions with someone who is a little bit aggressive or has sort of a bully type of energy. When someone has a lot of fire, they push their fire out sometimes, and that causes you to step back and collapse your own fire. And so that causes us, like I said before, to doubt ourselves, but it affects our self-esteem and our self-worth and our self-confidence. We start to think other people are better than us, or even that they are less than us. We start to do these comparisons in our relationships. And we start judging others' behaviors and their thoughts and their beliefs, rather than when we are in a higher energy, we can hold space that they can believe and feel whatever they want to. It doesn't affect us. We may agree and we may not, but it doesn't hurt our feelings if they don't agree with us. And we don't have to change their mind. We just can hold compassion and hope for the possibility of us understanding each other. Rob, that's perfect. So Rob says, I'm not being defensive, you're being defensive. Exactly. And all of that, when I teach all about this type of work at my school, Trinity School of Mystical Energy Healing, we spend a lot of time about really finding ways to release our defenses. It doesn't mean we don't guard our energy. It means that we are learning how to act rather than react. So when you are taking action, you are doing it from a higher vibration. When you are just living your life reacting to other people and what they say, you're going to be backpedaling a lot. And so that's all about being defensive. I always found it interesting that when you're learning to drive a car, you're taught to drive defensively. You're taught to be cautious of what's going on around you. And when we are taught how to be and act on this planet, we're taught to just sort of like throw our energy out there and not really be aware of our surroundings. And so we give these mixed messages, look both ways before you cross the street. But in everything else, you're going to just step out there, jump on somebody else in the middle of their conversation, or, learning to take turns. I love the phrase that, about everything important in life I learned in kindergarten. Learning to take turns, learning to listen, learning to share. And how quickly do we disintegrate those rules that we may have learned when we were younger, because it doesn't fit the model of how we're meant to be in our society at this point. People are, they hoard their money, they hoard their energy, and sharing is just not, we're not very good at sharing these days. Some of us are better than others, but if you look at us as a whole, we've got some sharing issues that we need to deal with. So I'm sure everybody has, like a toxic relationship, or a dozen, that they would really like out of their energy system. And if it's somebody that you have to, oh, neat. What is that? Emotional anarchy? Yeah, right. I mean, the reality is that, the things that some of us were taught as children, please and thank you, holding the door for somebody else, they're just classic ways that we were taught to be kind, and kindness isn't, rewarded, these days. So it really takes a lot to, have children be kind. Oh, yes. Sharing bad, capitalism good, says Rob. Yeah, because, it's a, hoarding mentality, that happens. And actually, when we hold that hoarding energy, as part of how we deal with others in relationships, we really damage our first chakra, because, that solid root of that is that we are here to be in relationship with ourselves. We're here to be in relationship with Mother Earth, and we are here to be in relationship with others. And none, our being here is impacted by how we show up on the planet. Oh, yes. Double plus. Yes. Yes. I am not as good, at my Orwell as I used to be. I had a very strong teacher, who was, strong in the double plus. So I apologize, Rob, for saying sharing double plus bad, capitalism double plus good. So I think now I've said it correctly. But if you think back to that time, it was all about paranoia, right? And there's still a lot of paranoia out there, and a lot of fear that is active. And so when we're trying to maneuver our own life through these toxic, relationship energies that carry fear and this me, mine, energy, it's like, how do I be a we with you if you are so, caught up in just yourself, and that you can't see my perspective? It's part of the dilemma we have, that we have some people who are in like fear energy, which has a lower density. It's closer to the planet and really embedded in, hanging on to all the resources for ourselves. And when we want to elevate our perspective and elevate who we are, we have to be able to be like the bird, right? We have to be able to fly over and see everyone's point of view, and yet really have empathy for where they are and where we are. And releasing their toxins, so we're not walking around with their thoughts and their beliefs in our body, is huge. And it's something that's a lifelong thing that you may be doing, because, think about it. We had teachers and friends and parents and family members who, put some beliefs and some ideas into our energy body that don't work for us, and who we're meant to be now. And so as we sort of grow and expand our spiritual side, our spiritual self, which is why most of us are here. So we are really in this, energy of, we've got to lead by example, right? This is what I talk about with my students as well. I'm a solid teacher because I've lived it. And so I know what it feels like to hold on to all that energy. And I know how freeing it is the more you can release. I mean, I look forward to releasing every single day something new. I'm like cleaning my interior closet every day. And yeah, once in a while I don't consciously do it. But that tends to happen on a day when I'm out in nature and nature's doing it automatically for me. So no worries, Rob. I wasn't even worried about it. It just cracked me up. It triggered me back to an English teacher I had back in high school, who was very into Orwell. And so he would have called me on it too. So there was a moment of that, which is great. It gives me something to release as well. So just like that, you may have like an old teacher talking in your head and you don't need to have it anymore. And so toxic isn't always bad. It's just, what I mean by that is anything that is squeezing your energy or mucking up your energy, clogging it, so that you aren't in your highest energy that you are able to be in. And that can shift from day to day and from moment to moment. But the more we hold on to old energy and replay it and replay it and replay it, the thicker and denser it is in our energy system. So imagine like, you go, if you're kids, they go outside and play in the dirt. It's no big deal at the end of the day to kind of hose them off or get them in the tub and wash away all that dirt, right? But if they go to bed with the dirt on them and then they wake up the next day and they play more and they're more dirty, and then you're trying to give them a bath or you're trying to take a bath, it's like layered, it's like stuck in, it's layered, it's like takes so much longer, it's so much more scrubbing that you have to do. And that's what's happened with these really old relationships that we had when we were younger. We've held on to it a long, long time. Oh, I love Rob. You're in a great mood today. Quack, quack, quack. Yep, totally brings me back. So we are going to start clearing our toxic relationship energy because I think we all could use it. If you have a particular one in mind that's been a problem for you, I invite you to focus on that the entire meditation. So you're inviting the divine to look in all the nooks and crannies of your energy body to remove any strands connected to that person. And as I've said before, it doesn't mean that person gets removed from your life or your body or anything like that. It just means that anything that you had as an exchange that wasn't in love and light, that can go. So you can release the old arguments. You can release the old snarky comments that actually hurt your feelings. So get a moment to really focus. If you have one particular person that's really been triggering you or you're having a hard time with, I would focus on them. And if not, just, it's great to do the whole meditation with the intention of just get everything out of there that is ready to go. So if you haven't listened to me before, I am going to make some clearing noises. That's me releasing the energy of the group. Yes, Robin. So Robin's saying, okay, time to cut a cord, literally. Yes, and I have a little bit of philosophy around cord cutting. My philosophy is I'm not cutting it. I am removing it. And the difference I see between that, it's like mowing weeds. If you mow the weeds, they grow right back. If you dig in the dirt and you take them out by the roots, then they're gone completely. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. I just noticed when I was first doing energy work and was doing cord cutting that the cords would go back pretty quickly. But when I asked that they be removed all the way back at the root, and sometimes that's not in this lifetime. Sometimes the root of that cord is in another lifetime. So when I asked for it to be taken out at the roots, I have found in my own observation, and you may have something different, that it works more thoroughly for me than just cutting the cords. Some people, they cut the cord and it's done. I've just had a number of clients where it kind of grew back really quickly. So yes, we are literally upheaval unrooting these cords. Yes, right. Just like that. So Rob said dandelion roots can run, 2 to 3 feet down, right? So you think you got them at the surface, but they're way in. So we are actually going for it. So we are removing it at the root, as deep as it goes, as old as it may be. Because some of the most triggering people in our lives, this is not the first lifetime we've had with them. Yes, Neshi says indigenous plants have tap roots up to 6 feet down, right? So if we only cut them off at the top, you're not doing much. It's going to come back if you want it gone. So this is let's dig down and get that root out. And I'm seeing, okay, it looks better now. My screen froze for a minute. I hope you guys still hear me and see me. It seems okay. We had a little bit of trouble with Mervin's show earlier, so I'm just checking in. So let's get ready for our meditation. So that means, I'm going to make some noises that are going to clear the energy for the group, those who are present now and those who will watch in the future. So don't make the assumption that the noise is all yours. Okay, great, Neshi. Thanks for saying that. Yep, you're back. So as we are, thank you. I'm so glad you guys, I'm glad that the freeze ended. And the sound is back on. Perfect. So get yourself comfortable. You want your legs and your arms uncrossed because we want to keep the circuits wide open and allow the energy that we're releasing to ground deep, deep within the earth. So that way it can compost and allow all the toxins to be released, and the energy gets returned back to original divine creation energy. So in a way, as we clear up our own toxic site within our body, we're creating new water and fresh air for all the beings who are on the planet by doing that. And how cool is that? So get really comfortable, whether you're sitting or lying down. Yeah. And we're going to begin by calling in the divine energy. However you perceive that, whether it is creator or great spirit or all that is, or God or goddess, or the oneness consciousness, however you perceive that divine energy, we're going to invite that energy in and ask that it surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light. And we're going to take a moment to even set another bubble around the room that we are in or the space we are in, so that the whole space becomes sacred space for you in this moment. Yeah. And we invite in your spiritual team, your guides and your angels, your animal totems, your mystical creatures, the star beings, anyone that you may work with on your spiritual team, we ask that they come in and support you as you do this healing work for yourself.
Yeah.
And as always, we hold the energy of all the healing is done for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're going to start at the top of the head, at the crown, and just gently begin to allow the divine energy to begin to clear and scan our energy body for any places where the toxic relationship energy may be rooted. So we're going to begin to look in through the top of the head, in your brain, in your third eye, and just notice any thoughts or ideas that may be popping up to the surface to distract you. And acknowledge and release them with each breath.
Yeah.
And ask that any beliefs, thoughts, or patterns that have impacted our perception, our judgments, our knowledge, that are held in energy that is not in alignment with who we are right now, to gently dissolve and release all the way back to the first moment it was created, returning it back to the divine energy, the divine thought, idea it was.
Yeah.
Or if it does not serve us, it is welcome to depart.
Yeah.
And clearing all of the thick energy that has kept us from hearing our higher self, hearing our spiritual team, our guides, our ancestors. So that we can return to a remembrance of being one with the Creator,
Yeah.
and clearing any spots where we've allowed this energy to isolate us
Yeah.
from others, from ourselves, from our spiritual team.
Yeah.
Really clearing in the back of our neck and our throat all the times we had a toxic exchange of words. things said in anger or fear or hatred, which all echo back to fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really filling those spaces with compassion. Because we are only human in this moment. And we learn by doing, and in the doing, mistakes are our greatest teachers. So letting go of the regret, and the defenses, the way we block receiving the fullness of truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then really releasing the energy of the weight that we've carried on our back, on our shoulders, as we've lugged around all of these events and interactions that weren't done in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either in the giving or the receiving. There is no difference in the energy, whether it was given or received, or simply is a strand of exchange.
Yeah.
And we're releasing the strands of exchange.
Yeah.
But there you go. Much better. And releasing the energy in the heart where we took things personally, where we felt hurt, or we caused someone else to feel hurt.
Yeah.
They responded to our exchange in a hurtful manner. And filling those spaces that you're releasing with compassion, love, and forgiveness, mostly for yourself, so that you are filling with that, which then radiates out and allows them to fill as well if they so choose.
Yeah.
But this is all about you.
Yeah.
And reaching into our inner child, to all the ways the child within us held on to toxic relationships, toxic environment, in our homes, in our schools, in our places of worship. anywhere where our child may have held on to toxic energy. That squished their uniqueness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then reaching into our inner flame, into the solar plexus, the top of your third chakra, that golden sun that resides within you. Notice all of the ways that toxic energy has taken root. So taken root in resentment, taken root in assumptions, taken root in judgment,
Yeah.
taken root in a measuring of more than, less than, enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And any old anger attached to this energy, to any of the relationships that may be echoing throughout the third chakra. Releasing any compression and breathing in divine love and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And releasing any cords or attachments that are pulling the life force energy out of you or out of another into you.
Yeah.
So there's no longer a draining. We all have enough energy within ourselves. There's no need to take someone else's or have them take ours. We all have plenty.
Yeah.
And releasing any energy that's not even yours, that may be residing within there. Any toxins from simply having been in the proximity of someone having a difficult time.
Yeah.
And just take a moment to ask your higher self, is there any energy within me that is not mine? And if you get a yes, just gently ask that it be sent back to the divine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I feel one over in the right kidney for someone, whether it's now or in the future now. So that's inviting you to release the righteous anger that you may hold for another.
Yeah.
Just allowing that to go.
Yeah.
And if you need it, it will return.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now moving into the middle of the belly, into the womb, into the low back, into the reproductive organs. And there may be a lot of pressure in this area. And just breathing and allowing the divine energy to gently dissolve and release all that is being held there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And really allowing space for you to feel all your emotions fully without any toxins constraining you in a way that you are only allowed to feel certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
There may be rules about you're not allowed to be angry or you're not allowed to be sad, that are ready to be shifted and released.
Yeah.
And really coming into an awareness around that, allowing it to move through gently and beautifully.
Yeah. Uh. Uh. Uh.
Nice. Now moving into the first chakra in the tailbone, in the lower part of our body, really removing all of the ways that toxic relationships have caused you to react in ways that feel unsafe or ungrounded. You may feel not protected or not taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as that energy moves all the way down to your feet, imagine your cord that connects you to the earth. We want to clear our cord to the earth as well. So we are not sending toxic energy into the earth uninvited. For when we do clearing work to release, we are doing so from a divine, sacred place. But when we're stomping around in our negativity, we are leaving it on the surface.
Yeah.
So imagining it going in and taking its time as it clears away all the ways that we have toxically interacted with the planet. Clearing our relationship with the earth. And we are only in charge of our relationship, no one else's.
Yeah.
And allowing our energy to reach all the way to the center, to the Earth Mother herself. And just imagine your energy having a deep hug with the beautiful heart of the Earth Mother. You are surrounded and protected as she is surrounded and protected.
Yeah.
And how that can be the foundation for you to walk upon. Now beneath your feet, imagine, if you are able, a giant cube. And this giant cube is beneath your feet and goes into the earth about a foot, maybe a little deeper. And it allows you to be anchored and rooted. And we invite the divine energy to just flush one more time from the top of our head all the way down, clearing away any debris we may have loosened, anything else that is ready to go. It goes through our feet, through our grounding cube, into the earth. Now using this grounding cube, really feel the weight of your body. Feel your bones and your muscles. Feel the gravity pushing down upon you. And take a moment of gratitude and grace for the healing and the clearing that you received this afternoon, this morning, this evening. You know that anytime you need to release energy with another or even with yourself, you may do so in this manner. Gently begin to bring yourself back into the room, back into your space. And welcome back. So, everyone has toxins in different parts of their body, and a lot of them come when we interact with others. And we take it personally, or we hold on to it in a particular way. And when we are able to release it and not hold on to it as our own energy, then we have less cleanup to do afterwards. And releasing that energy daily, before you go to bed or first thing in the morning. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad to see you. Have fun at work. Really take a moment to clear your own energy. But that is really important that we take care of our energy health that way. But we still have this entire lifetime of old toxic energy that we need to release. And truthfully, we have it from multiple lifetimes as well. So really take opportunities to release those cords, release those connections right at the root so that you don't have to walk around with them. Because the more we clear our energy, the more we're able to be fully present for ourselves and for others. And, you know when somebody is really there for you. And that creates a much different relationship right from the beginning, right? So when we are in a better space, we receive a better relationship to begin with. So I always like to tell you what blends that I have that will support this work. So there is one particular blend that's called Release Your Story, which is specific for cord removal. And then the other one is that because we did a lot of second chakra energy work, there's a lot of cords and stuff that are in there. There is the second chakra blend, and that helps you bring your flow and your energy back into balance. So this is just a way to help you through this. Thank you, Neshi. Neshi said this healing meditation was needed. Thank you. I believe I will use this recorded show for another round in the near future. Yeah, this is one you could use on yourself as a maintenance meditation. You could do it once a week or once a month, especially if you are in situations where, you've got to deal with family at the holidays. You might want to remove all the old fights and snippets that you had, interactions, so that you can go in as clear as possible. And you might have had, if you're looking for a job, you want to release all your old job energy off of you so that, you are a fresh new being. You're going to be more marketable and more people are going to want to hire you because you're not walking around with all of your toxic energy around relationships. So bringing the third chakra into balance can be helpful. And all of these are available on my website, which hopefully I can do easily. I can't talk and type at the same time, guys, very easily. So trinityhealingsanctuaries.com is where you're going to find my blends. You're going to find the website about our sanctuary here. And if you are someone who is in central Massachusetts, or that's not too far for you to go, this Saturday I will be teaching Mystical Energy Healing 101. It's a 2-hour class, which starts to tap into how I do my work and how I teach. And it's sort of like a precursor for our school to see if it's something that you're interested in. But really, for me, it's about getting the energy out there and showing others how to access it within themselves. And we do an amazing heart healing as part of the class. And not only do you get to receive it, but you learn how to give it to others. So how cool is that? It's probably the best $40 you'll spend if you're in the area. So I would love to see you guys. And thank you, Neshi, for putting that out there. And she's off to publish our amazing magazine. I'm so excited because this is our publishing day. So you can always look at us at starnationsmagazine.org, and there's some great information that is there. My article this month is all about clearing your energy system, like your energy closet, and it goes chakra by chakra, ways to clear. So if you like today's meditation, it really has some information in there to help support you. So you can join me tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Soul Connections, where all we do is connect with our higher self and ask for healing in whatever form we need. And I give guided messages. I draw cards at the end of the evening. And I'd love to see you at 7. And if not, I will see you next week. So please love and share this if you feel like there's someone out there who would benefit from, having this meditation as well. And with that, I say good night and have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.